Hi friends, host Eric here, host Talking with Famous People. This video is called Parsing Out Becky's Legal Case. I guess possibly and psychological reality. So, if you don't know already, Becky has emailed my father twice threatening to sue him. And her reasoning is that he's responsible to stop me from talking about her on the internet. He supports me, so if I do something that isn't okay, like talking about her on the internet, he's responsible financially for my actions. Of course, here's the thing with this legal case of Becky's. First of all, my dad had no idea who Becky was, or that any videos I made about anything, really, about my channel, until Becky emailed him and said that I was harassing her. Now, no, it presumes that just because she sends him an email that's full of lies, that confers an obligation on him to then stop me. Even if she's right, that obligation would not occur until after the first email she sent him. Now, we talked about it a little bit last night. This morning she sent him a second email insisting that he stopped me from talking about her on the internet or she would sue him. So he came outside and he said, "Eric, I'm asking you to please stop this." And I said, "Okay, thanks, Dad, I appreciate that." And here I am talking about it anyway, you know. So he actually did make an effort to stop me. So what's he liable for? You're saying he should turn off my internet? It's in my name. I called Giggle Fiber. I'm the one who got the good internet because his internet was so shitty. In fact, his internet is so shitty now he's on piggybacking off of mine. So he can't turn off my internet. What's he going to do? Steal my laptop? Do I not own anything anymore? What's he going to do? Beat me up? How's he going to stop me? How's he going to force me to stop talking? He's going to gag me? You think it's within my father's capacity to do this? To stop me from talking about you on the internet? He can't be liable for harms done by somebody else that he didn't even know about, he had no part in creating, and that he was not informed about, had no idea even existed until you informed him. And first informing of him was intent to sue. Second informing of him was follow-up intent to sue him. Becky wants to sue my father. Why? Is it because she wants to get me to stop making videos about her? Probably. So why is she suing my father? Well, because she's willing to hurt anybody to get at me. Doesn't matter if they're blameless or not. There's no possible conceivable way any sane human being could find any way that my father is liable for anything that I've done in any civil court anywhere in the world. Why not? Well, because he's not orchestrating these videos of mine. He's not financing this YouTube channel. You know, YouTube channel doesn't have any costs for me. It makes a very small amount of money for me. I don't need him to finance it. I'm not using his internet. I'm not using his computer. I'm not using his camera. I'm not using his mics. All this stuff belongs to me. How is he supporting me in my YouTube endeavors? He's not. He doesn't care about my YouTube videos. He doesn't want to make videos with me, even though I've asked him to. He won't watch them because he doesn't care. And, you know, he knows now that sometimes when you're a public figure like me, you get personally attacked in really wicked ways by people who are incredibly spiteful and hateful. That shit happens, you know? But Becky, am I going to stop talking about you because of your idle threat? No. I'm going to talk about you more. Because you lied to my father. You emailed him a second time after I told you not to email him again. And you threatened to sue my father for something he could not possibly conceivably have any liability for. Even if you were right that there was liability to be assessed. If you really thought I was guilty of it, you'd sue me. Why are you suing my father? Because he's got deeper pockets? Or because you're not really going to sue anybody. You just want my dad to be mad at me. Yeah. Well, it didn't work, Becky. It's not going to work. He can tell you're a scoundrel and a liar like everybody can. The more you try to push on this, the more I will repeat the obvious fact that you're a scoundrel and a liar. For all, you did lie to my father in that email on multiple occasions. Don't even begin to try to deny it. Frame it as something else. Sweep it under the rug. You are a liar. It is objectively determined, and so. Becky O'Coin is a liar. She has lied to my father on multiple occasions in one email, and I've proved it. You have slandered me to my father. More importantly, though, who cares about that ultimately? It's like, whatever. He's not going to believe your lies. But, and he doesn't care about the things you're saying anyway. He's got important things to do and worry about. He's got mom to worry about. We've got an elderly woman with dementia whose caregiving is expensive. He's dealing with a lot of shit right now. He's got a lot on his plate. He doesn't need your obscene malfeasance bothering him. As I said in the last video, note how the complete disrespect she has for Delilah. So Becky is really mad at me because I said something true about her on the internet. So what she did is she said something half true about Delilah to my dad specifically to get her in trouble too. Why? Because that would hurt me indirectly. It wouldn't surprise me if Becky would like to kill my cat. Why? Because that would hurt me. Becky is the type of person who doesn't seem to understand that you don't get to get your justice on Joe by punishing Joe's child, for example. That's not fair. Joe committed a crime. Maybe it would hurt Joe to see his child be punished, beaten or something, right? Maybe that would hurt Joe a great deal. That doesn't justify anybody beating Joe's child because Joe's child is innocent. Joe's child didn't do anything. And even though it would successfully hurt Joe, we are moral agents with a responsibility to limit our harm doing in the name of justice to those who actually did some harm. And not throw innocent people under the bus just because you're mad at Eric. Not throw Eric's 21-year-old daughter under the bus with her grandfather because you're mad at Eric. Not throw Eric's 80-something-year-old father under the bus because you're mad at Eric. Not try to scare him into thinking you're going to successfully sue him, even though he has no liability whatsoever, and you could not possibly even dream of establishing any. And even if you could, you have no jurisdictional credence. So you're talking about inflicting emotional harm intentionally. That's not a suable offense in the United States. Your feelings aren't considered very valuable here in the United States. The truth is, free speech is, your feelings take a very distant backseat to that, Becky. And I'm guessing right now you're feeling pretty alone, pretty beat up, pretty sad, pretty angry. Well, I've got a ray of hope for you here. It is time now for you to learn something you've been avoiding for 27 years, or however many years, how old you are. You need to learn how to lose graciously. You need to learn how to admit when you've done something wrong and choose to take the narrative of redemption. I guess this has always worked for you before. That you're just going to seize the frame and intimidate somebody into doing what you want. Becky, you will never intimidate me no matter how long you live. Period. Everything you're doing right now, you are digging yourself into a deeper hole. When you are at the bottom of a big hole, stop digging. You want redemption? I'm still not denying it to you. But you're going to need to take your lumps. You're going to need to come on camera, acknowledge some things you've done wrong. You're going to have to be abashed. You're going to have to be sort of deferential and, yeah, I fucked up badly. You're going to have to do that stuff. That's the path to redemption. I cheated when I was 20, 19. I never did it again. But I made sure it was a part of my narrative of growth. I made sure to announce that this is a bad thing that I did. It was unjustified. Now look, you are correct in saying I probably shouldn't have said anything about you and Shane in that live stream. Not about that relationship. About you as a female NTP, sure, I should have said something about you. But I shouldn't have mentioned Shane or your relationship with him. I should have just said, I don't know whether Becky's in a relationship right now with anybody or not. But if she's not, if she's single, she'd be a good partner for you. I shouldn't have done what I did there. Not because it was wrong in some sort of legal sense. Not because I deserved to incur any kind of liability for it. But because even though it was true, it was snarky, and it wasn't very nice. So I shouldn't have done it. Now, that's how one deals with one's own failings. One acknowledges them and is humble about it and learns something. It is time for you, Becky, to put on the learner's hat. When I first started interacting with you, I sought a lot of wisdom from you. I tried to learn from you. And you did teach me a lot. And you helped me with my relationship, and you were a good therapist. That was all great. I afforded you that legitimacy because you deserved it. You had good ideas. You were saying good things. You called me out on lots of little things during that period of time. As my therapist, my job was to listen to you criticize me and defer to it when you were correct, and to give you the legitimacy of the person I was treating as a therapist. Now, here's the thing, though. You can't always be in that role. And you're not perfect, like nobody else is either. And if you don't learn how to be in the other role, namely the one who's losing, the one who's lost, the one who did something wrong and needs to make amends for it, needs to admit it, needs to come clean, needs to own up to everything, change your tune, change the narrative, participate in a cooperative endeavor to redeem you narratively, until and unless you learn to do that, to recognize that sometimes you're the one who's embarrassed and gets humbled, and you gotta learn, just like I do sometimes. I've learned how to do that. You have not, and you need to. So, to recap for everybody, Becky has sent a couple of emails to my elderly father threatening to sue him because she doesn't like videos that I make. Her reasoning behind this is that because I get some money from my father, he's responsible somehow to stop me from making these videos. Of course, the logic here is he had no idea I was making these videos, so how could he be liable for stopping me? He couldn't be. Now, Becky might say he was liable to stop me from making the video I made last night after she emailed him, but in that email already she had threatened to sue me. And him. So that doesn't make any sense. How could she threaten to sue him before he was even aware of her existence? How could he have incurred any liability? After all, the obligation would be to stop me. He didn't even know I was doing it. Didn't know anything about it until she informed him. So, but of course, when she informed him, she was already threatening to sue him. So that doesn't make any sense. Additionally, she's trying to threaten to sue him for something that's not liability incurring. Because I intentionally caused you emotional harm, does that mean that every time I insult somebody because they've done something scandalous and deserve to be shamed for it, that I'm subject to lawsuit? No, of course not. Your feelings aren't entitled to legal protection. Your feelings don't matter legally. The truth matters a lot legally, okay? And the fact that I've always been honest about you and fair and decent, if you were to actually successfully launch a lawsuit, which I don't even have any idea how you would, but if you were to, all these facts would come out in trial. I'd have shit tons of evidence on my side. You'd have nothing on your side, except your lies, which would backfire on you terribly. Once I got you, before pre-trial, when I deposed you, it would be over before the deposition was over. You'd be exposed completely before everybody. your lies, your inability to answer contradictory, to address contradictions that I've raised, your scandalous behavior. You think like a judge and a court clerk and lawyers and stuff are gonna support you in this? You're crazy if you think that. That's absolutely nuts. Zero chance of that. Now, I'm pretty sure Becky knows that. And she's just, as some sort of last-ditch Hail Mary attempt to hurt me by emailing my dad again. Don't do that again, Becky. You are at the bottom of a hole right now. You're probably feeling really low. Probably feeling like a bit of a scoundrel. Recognizing you screwed up really badly. And that you've lost a lot of respect from a lot of people. This is an FE nightmare for any ENTP. I get it. Absolute FE nightmare for you. So stop digging. You want to change the narrative here? Then you come in humbly. Humbly, head down. Ready to learn. Not ready to try to control the frame. Not telling more lies about me, liar. But deferential and humble. You have lost any other option with me. No more options for you. I'm not interested in reaching out to you. I'm not, whatever. But I am not closing the door entirely. If you want to redeem yourself, if you want other people to think you're a decent human being, you'll follow my advice. You will acknowledge all the truths I've been saying. You will sit down with me, have a recorded conversation. We make a video where you admit the malfeasance that you've engaged in. Where you acknowledge that you've allowed yourself to become a moral reprobate. And you become morally bankrupt. And that it is time for you to turn in your evil badge and listen to host Eric. Now, when you are ready to do that, I'll be here. I'm ready to have that conversation. Until then, keep your mouth shut and your email button away from my father. You've got nothing to stand on here. You've engaged in a terrible, terrible act. You doubled down on it, you scoundrel. Full of lies and full of just wishful thinking. You actually believe that you can sue me or my father from Canada for telling the truth about you on the internet. Do you actually believe that? Do you actually believe any American court will find in your favor or even allow that to go to trial? You're insane. Remember, you can get a Canadian judgment against me all you want. I'm not a Canadian citizen. They can't enforce that. They've got no jurisdiction over me. So, do what you want, Becky. And if Canada does subpoena me, I'll show up there. I will be there to depose the shit out of you. You liar, you scoundrel. So, now's your chance. Now is your chance. Stop fighting. Stop kamikazing. You're digging yourself into a massive hole. You're looking absolutely terrible with your lies and your nonsense and your attack on my daughter and my father just because you're mad at me. Never justified to do something like that. Never. You know this, but you're in denial right now. You're trying to hide from the truth. And that will always blow up in your face. So again, the door is open. You can come make a video with me where you apologize, acknowledge all this shit, retract all your lies, and work with me to try to become a good person. Or you can keep your mouth shut and never contact me or my father or anybody else I know ever again. Or you can get countless more videos like this, in which I drive home the point of your lies and malfeasance and your moral bankruptcy for everybody to hear because it is just right and true. So, Becky, time to grow up. Today's your day to grow up. That means you stop fighting me. You come in, head hung low, dragging your feet, dragging your tail between the legs, and try to see if you can get some redemption by throwing yourself on the mercy of the court. I'm the court. Why? Because you pulled that fucked up shit on the wrong guy. That's why. So that's the reality of Becky's beautiful court case that she's got against my dad, of all people. Great job, Becky. Great job threatening to sue my dad twice now. Incredibly poor legal thinking, but great work there. How's it working out for you? Continuing to try to win a battle you've long since lost. Learn to lose graciously. Or don't. But don't you ever, ever, ever dare approach me with anything but humility again, or you will get yet another and another and another of these videos, which you richly deserve because you are still trying to fight your bullshit evil against my righteous and just and true good. It will never, ever work. The light of day terrifies you? Why? Because you're engaged in some shady fucking shit. That's why. And that's it. So, hopefully, Becky will take this advice to heart and actually learn something from somebody who knows more than you, namely me, who is better than you morally, namely me, who pursues a righteous path, namely me, and who dispatches of your nonsense garbage argumentation in 0 seconds flat, namely me. So, Becky O'Coin, do you still want to fight with me? Or have you learned anything yet? No more Mr. Nice Guy, O'Coin. You're a scoundrel and a liar. You either come in humble and redeem yourself, or you're going to be stuck in this horrible, horrible self you created for yourself for the rest of your life. What a scoundrel. Yeah, so, she bought another video from me with her bullshit, of course.